Hey everyone, it's Patrick at Trick 9 Fitness. I'm going to take you through the entire warm-up, full body warm-up that I've developed just by piecing together other pieces of warm-ups that I learned. And we're going to be using a lightweight resistance band. I've been doing this one for years and I've only gone up to like the second level. This is a warm-up. It's not supposed to be high resistance. You're just warming things up. So low level resistance, solid anchor point you can trust, eye protection when working with bands. And we're going to start, actually not even using the anchor point, we're going to start by putting the handles on our wrists and grabbing an overhand grip on the band and doing what I like to call over and arounds. Straight arms, don't bend the elbows. You can give yourself a little more slack on the band if you feel like you need more space between your arms. I usually start off with quite a bit of slack in the band, and then after a few movements, I start narrowing my grip, getting a little more into the movement. This is a warm-up. The first movement shouldn't be the same as the last movement. You're gonna hopefully change things by doing this. Now, when I learned these, they were performed with a broomstick, and they were called dislocators. And there's a couple of things in there that I didn't like. Well, both of those things. The band gives us a little bit of leeway. Your wrists don't have to completely... It's much more difficult with a broomstick, is what I'm getting at. I usually do, I haven't live lost count because I'm talking to the video, I usually do 5 of these, nice and slow. If you count over and around, 1, 2, then I would say you do 10, but just 5 complete motions through there of over and arounds. Okay, we've done 5 over and arounds. Now, you're going to flip your grip on the band to an underhand grip, pulling the shoulders back to do this movement, opening up, and coming back out in front. Nice and slow, keeping the elbows straight, no bend in the arms, shoulder height, just open and close. We call these pull-aparts. And I do 10 of these. I think that's number 5. I'm going to do 5 more. That's 10. Okay. 10 pull-aparts. Okay, we just did 10 pull-aparts. And we're going to take the band off of our wrists. And here's where the anchor point comes into play. We're going to do face pulls. Now this is also really where the eye protection is much more relevant. And anything where we're pulling the band towards us. You know, my pull-aparts and my over and arounds, a little less risky. I could get away with those maybe without the goggles. But anything where I'm pulling the band towards me, I make sure to have eye protection. All right, so the face pulls just look like this. Shoulder height. I've got a mild staggered stance just because anything where I'm pulling back to forth, that affords me a little more forward to back stability. And this isn't really an instability exercise. I just want to be able to focus on how my arms are feeling, how my shoulders are feeling as I pull the band up next to my face. Hence the name face pulls. Elbows up high. We're going to do 10 of these. It's pretty much 10 of everything in this warm-up. I used to even do 10 over and arounds, but those are nice and slow, and it took forever. So I cut it down to 5. I think I'm on 9 here, and that's kind of why I mentioned counting them front to back anyway, because it was such a slow movement that I was counting them twice without thinking about it. But these are pretty straightforward. You're just pulling 1 rep each towards the face. Next, I usually just kind of wrap it around. I hold the band because I'm going to use it again pretty soon. 10 squats. And if you're not very familiar with squats, they look something like this. The hips are coming back, not the knees jutting forward. There's kind of a natural balance point you find with the knees coming forward a little bit. We're trying to preserve the natural alignment of the torso from the standing position to the squat position. We're not trying to bend dramatically in the spine, the hips and the knees. And I just put my hands out front to kind of counterbalance. As the hips come back, shift my center of gravity back. I kind of want to have some counterbalance so I don't have to lean my torso as far forward. We do 10 of these. I'm talking to a video, so I don't know, that's 10. After that, I used to do these on the floor while sitting in a squat. And since then, I recommend them to people using a chair. And I use the chair now myself, because these aren't supposed to be too intense either. This is a warm-up. I'm rotating the knee, or I'm rotating the hip actually. I'm dipping the knee down and rotating it up. And I'm not pulling at the edge of this movement. I'm not pushing down past, just a very easy and comfortable range of motion. And I just do 5 on each side of this so that it adds up to 10. Kind of just keeping things simple. This is just a warm-up that I do pretty much before. I try to do it before every time I work out. I do compromise on that though. And you can see with both feet, I'm just letting the foot come up on the toe. Whatever is most comfortable for me to just kind of nice and easy work the hip joint through a range of motion. We're not trying to really stretch, we're just warming things up. Getting the joint to produce some lubricating fluid. That is like 1 round of the warm-up. We've got 2 more. This is 3 rounds of groups of movements that all very closely resemble each other. Now after I've got the legs, I bring it back up to the upper body. And the second round is the same 2 movements in the beginning. Put the handles on the wrists. We do over and rounds. I'm going to narrow my grip a little bit because I'm warming up now and I can handle it better. I'm not really trying to challenge my joints too much here. Comfortable ranges of motion. So for those of you who are new to this movement, feel free to give yourself maximum leeway. You're still taking the shoulder through a range of motion that's comfortable and working from there. We're not trying to actively yank on anything here. And I'm going to count at 5. Okay. Pull aparts are next. Switch your grip. So I had the overhand grip for the over and rounds, underhand grip for the pull aparts. My thumbs are pointed out. Pull apart. I'm keeping my shoulders back, pinched back the whole time. You can see the difference if I kind of relax forward and pull, and I can feel the difference there. I'm not activating the back muscles as much as I would like to. Pulling the shoulders, pinching the shoulder blades. And let's count that as 10. Now that's the first 2 movements. The third movement in the second round very closely resembles, does it? Yes. Very closely resembles the first round's third movement, where we have an anchor point. We start at shoulder height, a mild staggered stance here, but instead of a face pull, we're doing shoulders pinch back. This is 2 movements now. Keep them distinct for the first 5 motions here. And pull down towards the hips. I'll do that again. So I'm going to do them both. Pinch back, straight arms come down to the hips. Let the shoulders come forward. I can almost emphasize that movement. I'm just kind of taking things through movement. Pinch back, pull down to the hips with straight arms. Pinch back, down to the hips. And you can see my band shifts up and down my anchor post. That's fine. Pinch back and down. Now, I've done it, I think, about 5 times. I'm going to just stay pinched back and do the remaining 5. And if you can't get the shoulder pinched back at first, you're really normal. A lot of people don't just have that rear shrug mind muscle connection yet. It's something you'll develop as you work with it, but it's not. I tell a lot of clients, and I show them it, and they, they'll look at me and then do this, or they'll shrug up because that's the only muscle that they know how to activate in that complex shoulder arrangement. So if you're not getting it first, that's normal. I've seen it a gazillion times. I'm exaggerating there, but like it feels like thousands. Everybody I show this to at first, they're a little bit like, I don't know how to even move that part of my body that way. Normal. You'll get it. It's just a pinch back, not a shrug up. So that's the third movement in the second round. And we bring it back to, I'm just going to hold the same thing for getting the legs. Squats, 10 of them. And squats, and then 5 on each side, the knee rotation or the hip rotation. Got my seat. Knee rotates down, just nice and easy. I used to kind of push on these, and I don't do that anymore. I suffered a hip injury, and I'm not sure from what, because it was kind of a thing that didn't happen like that. It wasn't like, oh, I hurt myself. It was just something that kind of over the course of weeks became apparent. So was it me pushing on these? Was it the extreme lunges I was doing? Both. No matter the case, I don't push the range of motion here. I'm not trying to feel that stretch. I'm just doing it nice and easy, comfortable. I've learned, a couple times the hard way to not push, respect my comfortable range of motion and allow it to grow. I don't push it. All right, so that's the end of the second round. Third round, we're going to start off. And this one, all 3 are different. It's not the over rounds and the pull aparts like the first 2 rounds are. It's, first off, rotations. And I usually, you can tie the band. I'm not sure if you can see that in the video. You can tie the band through itself, but then, you just end up way out there. And I usually just, out of convenience, laziness, I just have 2 handles in my hands. I have one just kind of being the anchor point, and I can do my external rotation of the shoulder like this. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now on these shoulder rotations, you really want to keep your arm close to the body. A lot of people, when they first try these, they will, they think the goal is to pull the band as far as possible. So they end up doing something like this. Now, no, the goal is to actually, the goal is to keep your arm in and just isolate that to rotation. Now, these are totally different muscles that do that job of pulling out. We want to do the rotation. So, what I like to do with people who are, stuck in a bad habit of lifting their arm off and trying to pull the band instead of trying to rotate the arm, I give towel. This is just a gym wipe up towel we got laying around. You got to hold it, and that will, if you drop it, you did it wrong. Keep that arm pinched close, like so. Okay, so I do 10 on this side, 10 on the external rotation, and then my anchor point becomes my outside arm, and my rotation is with the inside arm. Internal rotation. So I'm pulling in, keeping the arm pinned against the side. So I don't even go a full 180 with my arm, because then, I don't know if you can see this, the forearm pressing against my torso kind of levers my elbow up off of my side. So I don't need to do the full range of motion. I go from where it's comfortable and where I can preserve the form. I do 10 of these. I think that's about 5, 6, 7, 8. Please comment below if I've counted wrong on any of these. All right. Now I'm going to do internal rotation and external rotation on the other side. And it's pretty convenient. I can just flip the other way. Got this anchor point is my left arm. Now you get the back side view. Boom. I've got the internal rotation of the right arm. 10 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And then I'm going to do the external rotation of the left arm. And there's no rhyme or reason to which side I do. I think I ended on this one, but I just, usually alternate the arms. You can do it in whatever order you like. External rotation of the left arm I get here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that's the first exercise in the last round. I kind of consider it one exercise, but you may have noticed that it's an entire 40 reps, and it's a little bit time consuming. So I do this one on days when I'm in the mood to do it, or on days when I know I'm going to be doing a little more shoulder stuff. Like today, I actually plan on doing some kind of overhead or maybe some scaptions, and I'm going to hit my shoulders today, so I want to get the shoulders more warmed up. If I'm planning on doing, a high rep, low weight leg day, this is just maintenance kind of, so I don't have to really focus. And I'll show you the abbreviated version of the first exercise in round 3. The abbreviated version is just facing with 2 handles, the anchor point, and external rotating both, just kind of pulling back, keeping the elbows and arms pinned to the sides, just like the other ways. But I can do both arms, external rotation, 10 reps at the same time. And then, when I'm done with that, since this is the abbreviated version and I have decided that I don't need to do as much, I just skip the internal rotation. I don't do a version for that. I just do 10 of these and I move on. That's the abbreviated version of the rotations. Now the next movement is also an anchor point. I think all 3 in the last round are with an anchor point. And I have just a low anchor point now because what the exercise is, flip around, and hopefully you can see this. I'm going to have to check the video, of course. Hopefully you can see my hands down here. And I'm holding them using the band as my grip. I'm not holding the handle, because when I hold the handle, when I have people hold the handle, I end up having this strange grip that isn't what I want. I want just a neutral grip. Neutral grip. With the wrist neutral, palm facing the body. So I grab the bands. And that way I can have this nice, comfortable, neutral grip to do this exercise with. And it's a scaption. It's a rear anchored band scaption is what I call it. Not a very short name, but standing up straight, pulling the shoulders back, lifting the straight arms up, out in front, shoulder height, a little bit wider than straight in front. I think 37.5 degrees is the angle that we're supposed to hit a scaption at. I remembering correctly. But it really doesn't matter, because who's going to hit you up with a protractor in the gym, especially nowadays. So you just go for a little bit wider than straight out in front, but not super wide. We're avoiding super wide. So we do 10 of those, 10 scaptions. Rear anchored band scaption times 10. And feel free to shift the angle you're lifting the bands to kind of, get a comfortable distribution of the resistance. You'll feel it if one is harder than the other side. Keeping my shoulders pulled back. And as I'm doing these, I'm just trying to pay attention to what's going on. As you're doing any kind of warm-up, pay attention, go slow, feel things out. As I kind of get bored with paying attention to my shoulders, I'll start to focus on how are my hips, how are my knees, how's my stance. I'll, tighten my glutes a little bit, get in touch with everything. I think that's about 10. I'm not counting, I'm talking. Which is why most of the things I do with clients are on a timer that I can just hit start and stop on, so we can keep talking about whatever. Counting's tough, man. Counting's tough. Math. So now I'm facing back to the anchor point, and we're starting the third round much like we started all the other third rounds. Shoulder height, mild staggered stance, but with this one, we're going up to a 90-degree shoulder height elbow, which will face you doing this without the band will look something like this. Ideally, your elbows will be shoulder level, and I've got this kind of box that you're forming with your hands. So you grab the handles, pull back, and up. 10 times. Now this one, out of all of the warm-up exercises in this warm-up, this one's the hardest. You're probably going to want to shuffle forward a little bit until you've got just enough tension on your band to keep it in place, if you're using a post. If you have some other anchor point, like some kind of fixed loop, of course, it's not going to slide down. You can get even closer. Pulling up and back. 90-degree elbow. 10 of these. 5, 6, 7. This one, you'll feel the burn. 8, 9, and 10. Okay, I'm done with my band on the warm-up, which also means I can be done with my eye protection if I want to be. Put on my actual glasses and do the third round of legs, which is leg swings. And I usually put my hand on something sturdy, swing my outside leg, and then switch. Swing my other leg. I'm going to step back, make sure you can see all of me. They just look like, and we're not pushing at the edge of this. We're not pushing at the edge of the range of motion. We're not trying to really force much. We're letting it warm up. We're letting it warm up. Leg swing. Just 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nothing too dramatic. I used to get more into these, but as I've said, I've learned to respect my body's existing range of motion in the moment, because it will change. That's why we do a warm-up. Loosen things up. Get that range of motion to grow. Seven, 8, 9, 10. Okay. That is the entire full body warm-up that I give to all of my clients and do myself as often as I can. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend. I've gotten to the point where sometimes I'll do it with a green band, but lately I've been doing it with the yellow and feeling fine. It's just a warm-up. This isn't really the workout. You can use these exercises in a workout later, but first when you're warming up, you're not really trying to stress things. You're just feeling it out, getting that range of motion to loosen up and get bigger on its own. Thank you for watching. Hope this helps. Hit me up with any questions. And until next time, have a good one.